I'm Chris Berman. Got a lot of games to cover. Let's get at it. In our first game this week, we had the Cowboys come away with a decisive 10-point win. The Chargers won this contest, but will stay at the second place in the AFC West. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Rashad Moore is going to find himself with a new club, and he'll be in a new tax bracket too. 2 years, $2.0 million. Kelly got snatched up as well, and he signs a 2-year contract with the Ravens. Darnell Dockett will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 3 years, $2.2 million.
In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Giants pick up their 8th win of the year. Bobby Shaw had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Sean Alexander had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Seahawks beat the Jaguars. Jets, Bengals. Lloyd is always a threat. They're at the 1-yard line and touchdown. The Jets go on to win this by the final score of 34-31. Way up in the northern plains in Minnesota, we had the Vikings get squeezed out by 4 points. Up at Invesco Field at Mile High, we had the Broncos lose by 11. The Rams racked up over 150 rushing yards in their win at Freecom Park. The Browns lost at home in their final game of the year. The Dolphins won this contest, but will stay at the second place in the AFC East. Buccaneers, Panthers. Torrey Holt is so dangerous with his speed. The ball at the 27-yard line, and there's a little stutter step, and he's wide open. Touchdown! The Panthers win this one by the final score of 27-3. Ace, Deuce, and plenty of use McAllister get another good performance in the win and showed us why he's ranked up at the top of the league. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. This week had some big injuries, and we'll get to all of them, but we're going to start right here. Wright is arguably the biggest name on this list. The team doctors have reported a pulled hamstring, and he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. On to the serious news of the week. Edgerrin James said he knew his season was over the second he went down. And indeed, his club will need to find someone to pick up the rushing slack. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Marcus Cuckoo Kachoo Mr. Robinson hauled in over 150 yards receiving and helped his Eagles beat the Packers. Down in the sunny skies of Arizona, we had the Cardinals get sent away with a 7-point loss. And in our final game, we had the Titans come away victorious.
All right, Chris, thanks. All right, folks, our playoff picture has now been officially finalized. So let's take a look at it now, shall we? We'll begin with a look at the AFC. And now, checking things out over in the NFC playoff race. So there you have it, the regular season now in the books. Time to see which of these 12 teams will emerge as Super Bowl champs. We'll get it started for you on ESPN next weekend. And that'll do it from here. Chris, let's send it back over to you.
And then there were 12, the playoffs, right around the corner, which means it's time for our regular season awards. But first, my primetime players. The final round of game balls go to these Warriors, each with a standout performance in the final game of the regular season. All right, as promised, here's a look at this year's best of the best, our season-ending NFL awards. Peyton Manning, without a doubt, is going to take home the hardware in this one. You see the numbers on your screen, but numbers really don't tell the whole story. Leadership, work ethic, love of the game, that's what truly makes him stand out. Yeah, without question, the best year of anyone. Dante Culpepper has got to be our choice for Offensive Player of the Year, and you've got to be hard-pressed to find better numbers than that. Obviously, give a lot of credit to the rest of the offense, but this is the guy that was driving the car, so to speak. Eric Barton gets the nod as our Defensive Player of the Year. I think when you look at this award, you think of guys that can really excel against either the run or the pass. But this guy can do both. What a year he had. Burgess comes away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. You know, it's very difficult to come straight from college. He handed the keys to an NFL offense, but he stepped in and did a bang-up job. Watch out. He's only going to get better with age. Shelton was our Defensive Rookie of the Year. Hard to think of any young linebacker with better instincts for the football than he has. He wins it in a landslide. Ricky Williams ran away with the rushing title this year. Talk about a threat out of the backfield, my friends. Finesse, speed, a surprising amount of power, which he used to bowl over the few who actually managed to lay a finger on him. What a year. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.